All right, guys, so we're going to head back to the back end, and I just realized that we already have the get user profile right here. So we already created this. It just returns the current user's data. But another route that I want to add and another controller function that I want to add is to update the profile, which will be a put request. So let's start to add that. So I'm just going to copy this entire function in the user controller, this get user profile, and let's go right under it, and this one is going to be to update the user profile. I just want to get the back end set up so we can create our profile screen in the front end. So here this is going to be a put because it's going to be an update, and it's going to be API/user/profile. And this is going to be private. They're going to need to be logged in, so they'll need to send a token. And that'll actually be both of these, or this one actually, get user profile, will be the first route that we hit from the front end that we actually have to send a token to. We haven't done that yet. So let's continue this. This is going to be update user profile. And let's see, we're going to get the user by ID, and we're going to have the logged in user, so that's correct. And then if the user is there, then we're going to set, let's say, user.name. We'll set that to request.body.name, or if that's not there, it's just going to stay whatever the username is. All right, and then user.email is going to be set to request.body.email or the user.email. Now for the password, we want to first check to see if a password was sent. So if request.body.password, then let's set user.password to request.body.password. And it'll be encrypted automatically even if the passwords change because of what we did in the model. Remember, we added right here some middleware that should get called because we're actually going to use save for this. So after we check for the password, then let's say const, and we'll call this updated user. Set that to await, and we want to take that user and save, call .save. And then as far as a response, let's say res.json. Actually, what I'll do is just copy the response from either the register or the login, because it's going to be the same thing. Or not from the register, because that's a 201. So I'm going to grab from the login this right here. So update user profile, and right here, paste that in, except it's going to be the updated user stuff. So we're going to take that and replace that with updated user. Okay, and then if the user's not found, we'll just go ahead and send that error. All right, so we'll save that. Now let's go to our user routes, and we want to, actually we need to export that. So down here, let's say update user profile, and let's bring it in here. And then where I want to put this is right here. So we already have route/profile. We already have a get. So let's add on to this. If it's a put request, we want to add on to it, and it's going to be protected. So we want to add our protect middleware, and then update user profile. Now we can test this in Postman. So I'm going to create a new request, and this is going to be a put request to /API/users/profile, and let's say update user profile. All right, so go here. It's going to be put, and I'm just going to copy this, paste that in, and then as far as the body here, we first need a user. Let's change this to JSON. We need a user to edit, so let's log in as a user. So I'm going to go to my login route, and I don't want to edit admin. Let's edit John. So I'm going to log in as John, and remember, as soon as I log in, the token that's returned is put into the environment variable. So I have that stored in there. So now I can go to the put, and from authorization, actually we'll try it first without it just so you can see that the protect middleware is working. So I'm going to, now that I'm logged in, let's just say name, and let's change name to, let's say, John Doe with no E. Now if I send this, I'm going to get not authorized, no token. So we need to go to authorization, bearer token, and the token that we have in our environment variable is already stored there. So now let's send, and we get back the user, the updated user, which you can see is John Doe. So we can now edit the user. Let's go ahead and try to edit the email. So we'll say just, let's do j@example.com. And you can see that now the email's been edited. Now I can edit the password too, or update the password. Let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 instead of 6. And we don't have to add this stuff. I do want to set the email back though. We'll just leave it anyways, doesn't matter. So we'll send that. Now the password should be updated. So if I go back to my login now and I try to log in with 1 through 6, I get invalid email or password. If I change it to 5, it works. So I was able to update the password. Let's change it back to 6. And now if I try to log in with 1 through 5, it doesn't work. But if I add 6, it works. All right, so I'm just going to make sure I save this route here, this update. And now we're ready to implement that into our front end. We also want to implement the get user profile because we want the form to have our initial name and email displayed. So in the next video, we'll go ahead and we'll go back into our front end and we'll add the profile.